Imagine getting pulled over on suspicion of drunk driving, passing a field sobriety test, but you get taken away to jail anyway. Then the arresting officer lies about the test.
Well, in St. Tammany Parish, an internal investigation found a deputy who was hailed as a leader in DWI arrests was caught doing just that. It's a story developed with Sarah Pagones at the New Orleans Advocate. And tonight, investigative reporter Katie Moore asks the tough questions.
Hi, I'm Dan Abrams, and this is our control center at A&E Network headquarters in New York City. This is Live PD.
Tonight, the Live PD crew will be riding along with Deputy Ricky Steiner and Deputy Jason Walden. Back in their patrol units, Deputy Steiner makes a traffic stop.
Former Sheriff Jack Strain named Ricky Steiner Deputy of the Year in 2016. Praised for his number of DWI arrests, Steiner was one of the hand-picked faces when live PD cameras started rolling. 2 years later, the watchful eye of a cell phone camera would leave the Deputy of the Year disgraced.
Right foot, place it on your left, like this.
I understand people lying to get out of trouble. I don't understand lying to get somebody else in trouble.
Timesheets show Deputy Steinert is working under a state overtime grant to catch drunk drivers. He pulls over National Guard soldier Ryan Hyde, who's off duty.
He's not harassing. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I love that.
I told you I'm not having court on the side of the road.
So was Hyde impaired? There are 3 parts to a standard field sobriety test: the walk and turn, the one-leg stand, and the nystagmus or eye test. Deputy Steinert's report says Hyde performed poorly on all 3 tests. It reads Hyde missed his 3rd and his 7th steps, losing his balance, causing him to step offline. Hyde had both of his arms raised to assist in keeping his balance. But that's not what the video shows. On the one-leg stand part of the test, Steinert writes, quote, Hyde immediately raised both of his arms to keep his balance. As Hyde was counting, he lost his balance, causing him to place his right foot on the ground after reaching the number 1006. The 3rd part of the test, the eye test, only the officer can see. Let's take a look.
It looked like he was heel to toe. He never stopped. He did the turn properly based on the 2 tests you showed me. From what I could see, I saw no clues that would indicate that he was impaired.
This would be Hyde's 2nd DWI. Not only are his money and his record at stake, it could cost the 2-time Purple Heart winner his Army commission.
I was shocked at the details in the report. That's what was shocking.
What was written in his report and what happened on this video contradicted one another.
St. Tammany DA Warren Montgomery dropped the charges against Hyde.
I immediately opened up an internal affairs investigation. Once Deputy Steinert was notified, he came in and resigned the next day.
This is the final report from that internal investigation into Steinert. It says Steinert admitted, quote, copying and pasting the probable cause from a previous DUI arrest to his lieutenant, and that Steinert admitted fabricating the facts associated with Hyde's arrest.
That certainly is a crime under Louisiana law, and that is really police misconduct of the highest order.
We would have to look at it in a different aspect on a criminal matter to decide whether we want to pursue criminal charges or let another agency look at it so there's no conflict.
Has that been done?
On that particular case, no, it has not.
Why not?
Because it's not criminal. I didn't see it as a criminal act. I'm the hiring, firing authority as the sheriff. I make those decisions. I know Ricky, he was a good deputy from the time I took office, except until this one DWI came forward.
So was it just that one case? Montgomery pushed to overturn the DWI conviction of 53-year-old Darren McFarland because it was largely based on Steinert's testimony. So far, he's identified 24 cases, including a felony drug case, that are potentially at risk. Records show since 2015, Steinert has put at least 117 people in jail, while Smith and Montgomery say they're reviewing Steinert's pending cases to see if the people Steinert arrested should be prosecuted. What about Steinert? Louisiana law prohibits the filing of false public records. And Cialino says if Steinert arrested people without probable cause, it's a violation of their most basic civil rights.
These are serious allegations of misconduct and perhaps criminal conduct. They need to be fully investigated in an impartial manner, and then the results of that investigation need to be given to the DA.
Through public records, we found Hyde's wasn't the only report that raises questions about Steinert's arrests. This is Hyde's arrest report. This is the report Steinert wrote about Darren McFarland's arrest. When you compare them, the two paragraphs about the eye test are virtually identical, with only the names changed. We found a third report with the exact same language. If you look at these two sections of this report, the verbiage is identical except for the names. It's specific language like, during the test, McFarland had to be told 4 different times to stop moving his head and follow his finger.
Is it coincidental?
What are the chances that he had to tell both of these individuals and a third 4 times to stop moving his head and follow his finger?
And during our investigation in the Hyde arrest, it did prove that there was some untruthfulness in his narrative.
Just hang tight, all right? Hang tight.
What should not happen is for the sheriff to make the unilateral decision that this is to go no further.
So we showed the 2 DWI reports to the DA.
So I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, and we will look into it.
When reached by phone, Deputy Steinert said he left the sheriff's office because he'd been looking for a better paying job, and he found one. He denied even knowing he was the subject of an internal affairs investigation. While this cell phone video cleared the suspect of a crime, the question experts now say needs to be answered: does it implicate the officer in another? Katie Moore, Eyewitness News.
Might be another one right there.
Some of Smith's critics say the Steinert case is not an isolated one. We'll have more on that part of the story tomorrow. You can read more about this in the New Orleans Advocate online or in tomorrow's newspaper.